Hey guys, I had a question about some of the math, and I wanted to talk quickly about the poetry assignment too while I'm making a video. So the question was, is it asked you to draw a line segment for the square root of 5. So what they want to do is they want you to basically calculate the square root of 5 and then just draw how big that line is. Square roots are actually the opposite of squaring. Okay, so when I square something, let's say 2 squared, that equals 4. Okay, the square root of 4 is 2. Okay, so square rooting is the opposite of squaring, is basically what is the base if I was to square a number is the answer of a square root. Okay, that's some interesting language. So what you have to do in that one question says draw a long segment with the square root is you just calculate the square root of 5. You have to use your calculator, which is 2.23. So all you do is you go on your calculator and you put 5 and then you hit the square root button. Sometimes the square root button looks like this, but that's all you have to do is just press that button and it will give you a decimal value. In that question, then you just draw a line that is 2.23. Okay. The reason why we're dealing with square roots in this math is because, again, I don't know if you'll watch that video about the Pythagorean theorem, but it deals with actually squares on the outside edges. Okay, so if we calculate the square root of these squares, you get the side length. Okay, a lot of stuff. The other one, it says use grid paper and draw a right angle triangle with a hypotenuse of each side length. So it gives you something like the square root of 20. And basically it's telling you that C equals the square root of 20 because it's talking about the hypotenuse of the triangle. So draw a right angle triangle with a hypotenuse of each length. So you would draw a triangle, and then your hypotenuse here would be the square root of 20, so you need to calculate that. And my audio doesn't work. Let me see here. So I would go 20, and I'm doing this on the computer, and I'm going to hit my square root button, and it tells me that it's 4.47. So we would say that the hypotenuse, again, the hypotenuse is the side directly across from the 90-degree angle, and we would label it as 4.47, or we would actually draw it if we had grid paper. If I was to do it to scale, I would actually measure the 4.7. The last one is a little bit tricky. Number 10 says sketch a triangle with the side length of this. So this is the last one. It says calculate, so the side lengths are, and you can put them in any order, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Imagine the side length is the diameter of a semicircle. So it says sketch the semicircle on each side. So this how they want you to calculate is interesting because you have to use your circles. So they want to actually create a semicircle. Okay. It says calculate the area of each semicircle you drew. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. So you would have to use these measurements, and it says as the diameter, right? Because, yeah, it's going to be the diameter. So if these are each the diameter, d equals 4, it also equals 5, and it equals 3. Your radius is going to be half that for each of those. So your radius would be 2, 2.5, 1.5. You need to throw these radiuses into the area formula. But remember that these are only half circles. So at the end of your formula, you're going to divide everything by 2. Okay, so you're going to calculate the area of each of these circles, which will give you the entire area of the circle, but you're only calculating a semicircle, so you're going to divide them by 2. So I just created this new formula for you to use. Okay, so hopefully that gives you, hopefully you see all that. Okay, the other thing is the found point, just in case some people are confused about that. So the found poem, you're going to make a list of things describing your mother. Okay, so let's say we say kind, nice means the same thing. Joy could be things that you feel when you, so when you think about your mom, and you're going to be writing 30 to 50 of these. It makes your job easier the more that you can do. I'll put another good listens. Food. I would hate to associate mom with food, but sometimes we do. Stories. Anything significant. Hopefully these words can be something that is really significant to you and your mother. And then with the found point, you would title it Mother. And then you would just start putting these words together. You could do it randomly, and just put kind, happy. You don't have to put the capitals. Good, listens. And you can even throw, and so I could even put words like mom, like different labels or nicknames you have for mom. Joy, food, kind. Okay, so what happens is and you could use words twice. You can start to experiment with the flow, but I mean, a found poem is generally just supposed to be a bunch of words that just morph together. Kind, happy, good, listens. Mum, joy, food, kind. You could also throw in some connecting words to make it flow a little bit more. Stories. She is happy. So you could add these connecting words, but what I find with found poems is often just throwing the words together creates a real interesting feel for it. But if you want to get more creative, because this is something that if you choose to, you can give your mom, you could make it you can give it some connecting words. But a found poem is just using a source. In our case, our source is going to be the words that we create for your mother. And you use those words and you just kind of throw them together, and it creates an interesting poem, which is just a creative words of putting words together, or creative ways of putting words together, which is something I just did. So that's in a nutshell what the project is. Make a list of words, throw them together in the best creative ways you can. If you want to use connecting words, you can. The other thing you can do is you can actually have a background of some sort. So let's say I'll quickly throw a tree back here. Okay. And you could, that's the best awesome tree, you could actually throw these words around something too. It's the other way that sometimes people do it. And it becomes more of an art collage of words, which is also another way of doing a found poem. Okay. So these are just some ideas that you could use. But again, you just make your list of some words, and hopefully 30 to 50, throw them in a creative way, kind of put them together, and if you want, you can even put them together on some sort of picture. Okay, so hopefully that clarifies some questions.